Hello, friends. The last time, or the last week, we discussed culpable homicide and murder, sections 299 and 300 of the IPC. This week, we shall discuss another aspect of offenses affecting the human body, which is hurt and grievous hurt. Hurt is defined in section 319 of the IPC. Grievous hurt is defined in section 320. And we'll also go on to certain specialized aspects of hurt and grievous hurt, which is voluntarily causing hurt, 324 IPC, and voluntarily causing grievous hurt by dangerous weapon or means, which is 326 IPC. But hurt is hurt. As you can see, this poor fellow here is hurt and he has fallen down. So we move. Basically, the causing of bodily pain, disease, or infirmity to anybody is hurt. Now, we will discuss this in detail in the next slide, but I'll just give you a brief idea here by saying that in the definition of grievous hurt under section 320, specific kinds of hurt are mentioned, and only those hurts are grievous hurts. Only those hurts are serious hurts. Any other kind of hurt in the world is not grievous hurt. This is something you have got to remember. When somebody speaks of grievous hurt, in court you are facing a prosecution, you are defending against a prosecution of grievous hurt. The prosecution has to establish that the hurt caused was grievous because it was one of the 8 types of hurt, grievous hurt, given under section 320 IPC. We'll go into this in the next slide. The word here is only. Only those hurts which are mentioned below here are grievous hurts. And you will see the section speaks of member or joint. Member or joint. So before we go ahead, I think we should be very clear in our minds what is a member in a human being and what is a joint. Okay. So as you will see in this figure here, what we call in Hindi the jod, the knee joint, the elbow joint, these are joints. We join. Okay. And what are the members? The members are organs which we use to do things. For example, our thigh and leg, these are joints, right? Our tongue is a joint, right? So these are, members, my fault. What we do to move things or objects are members. So our hands, complete hands are members. Our legs are members. Our tongue is a member. But what joins the 2 portions of my hand together here is a joint. What joins the 2 portions of my leg together is also a joint. Okay. Now we come to the details of 319 and 320. The first thing that we have got to remember is basically a hurt entails either infirmity, which is weakness, debility, durbalta, kamzori, or bodily pain or disease, right? So hurt consists of 3 elements. If somebody X has caused to Y some weakness, some bodily pain or some disease, then that X has caused hurt. But when we come to 320 grievous hurt, we observe that exactly as in the case of culpable homicide and murder, hurt is the genus and grievous hurt is the species. just as culpable homicide was the genus and murder was the species. All grievous hurts are hurts, but all hurts are not grievous hurts. I gave you an example last time of the scientific names of the lion and the tiger, right? So the scientific name for the tiger is Panthera tigris, and the scientific name for lion is Panthera leo. Okay. Now, all leos are pantheras, but all pantheras are not leos. They can also be tigris. Similarly, grievous hurt is always a hurt, but hurt is not always grievous hurt. In order for something to be a grievous hurt, it can be either 7 kinds of hurt which come under the general heading of infirmity. What are they? Emasculation, loss of a sexual organ, emasculation, especially or only applying to men. Masculine, from the word masculine, male, you come to emasculation, when somebody no longer remains a male because of the destruction of his sexual organ. Permanent privation of the sight of either eye, privation. I've given the meaning of privation here. It is the loss or absence of a quality or attribute that is normally present. Now, what is the quality or attribute of an eye? It can see. You see with your eyes. You hear with your ears. Now, if there is a blow which makes me lose the sight in that eye or permanently, so the quality of the eye is to see. But unfortunately, because of that blow or that hurt, I can no longer see permanently, or I cannot hear. My eardrum is split, so I cannot hear. So permanent privation of the sight of either eye, loss or absence of the quality or attribute of sight, permanent privation of the hearing of either ear, permanent privation, I can permanently, it loses the attribute or quality of being able to hear. As I said, maybe by the rupture of the eardrums. Privation of any member or joint. Suppose the hurt is so serious, I cannot use my arm at all. So it's privation. Destruction or permanent impairment of the powers of any member or joint. Destruction. Suppose X throws so much acid on the arm of an accused, of Y, that Y permanently loses the use of that arm. It is the destruction or the permanent impairment of the powers of that arm, that member. Permanent disfiguration of the head or face, the same thing. When acid is thrown on a face and that face cannot be repaired, it becomes permanently scarred, disfigured because of that acid, or because of such a blow or such a sword cut or such a bullet this thing shot that the cheek becomes blown and a large hole appears which cannot be sewn up. If it cannot be sewn up, there is a permanent disfiguration of the face. Fracture or dislocation of a bone or tooth. What is fracture or dislocation of a bone or tooth? A bone is fractured. Somebody X gives Y a body blow, fractures the ribs of that man. Right? Somebody does something else which, for example, breaks the tooth. Daant tod diye, right? So, daant tod diye, breaking the tooth is also a grievous hurt. Now, these were infirmity. You have caused a major permanent weakness. Then bodily pain or disease. Here it is, any hurt which endangers life. Any hurt which endangers life. Now, for example, a very crude example, but nonetheless an example. X administers Y a knife blow. technically speaking, it does not break any ribs, but it does cut his intestines. Technically speaking, it could have caused the death, endangers life. Or X cuts the main vein of Y. Technically speaking, the rupture of a vein here can cause bleeding and death, endangering life. Right? But the other part of it is, if the hurt is such which causes the suffering for 20 days in severe bodily pain or unable to follow his ordinary pursuits, the person who suffers the grievous hurt either remains in severe bodily pain for 20 days or cannot do his normal work. Right? Severe bodily pain. Again, somebody is shot in the stomach. The pain of the surgery, even if he is up and about, ultimately the pain of the surgery may remain for a period exceeding 20 days, or he may not be able to go to office for 20 days. Then it becomes a grievous hurt. Now just imagine, if X administers a blow to Y which causes a sprain. Now, technically it will cause severe bodily pain. Y will have to wear a stress bandage, right? But the bandage may not be there for 20 days. So what has happened in this case? There is no emasculation. There is no loss of the sight in an eye. There is no loss of hearing in a ear. No arm or leg has been completely disabled. No arm or leg has been destroyed. Head or face has not been disfigured. There is no fracture or dislocation of his arm. But he is in severe pain because of the sprain. Moch aa gayi. Moch. Ab severe pain, but you apply a stress bandage and the doctor says, take these pain-killing pills, you will be all right in a week or 10 days time. So friends, in that case, it is not 20 days. And if it is not 20 days, it does not meet the criterion set down here by eighthly, bodily pain and disease. Okay. Disease, you give somebody a wrong vaccination. Now there can be a wrong vaccination or X gives a Y a vaccination knowing that there can be an allergic reaction. Now the allergic reaction is cured in 2-3 days. It is not a grievous hurt. But if it causes long-term effects, pain or unable to do his job, then the person who has received the vaccine has received the vaccine wrongly, has suffered grievous hurt. I made a memory aid here to help you in remembering these 8. It is E cube MD FBT 20. Right? E cube MD FBT 20. What is E cube? First E, emasculation. Second E, privation of eye. Third E, privation of ear. M, privation of member or joint. D, destruction of member or joint. F, B and T, fracture or dislocation of bone or tooth. Fracture, bone, tooth. 20, that is severe bodily pain or unable to work for 20 days. E cube MD FBT. E cube, emasculation, eye, ear. M, member, joint. D, disfiguration. and destruction. FBT, disfiguration of face or loss of bone or tooth due to fracture or dislocation. And finally, 20 days, bodily pain or inability to follow the ordinary pursuits. Now, I'll go back 2 slides and show you something very interesting. Now look at the definition of eighthly year. The one about 20 days where you are either in bodily pain or unable to do your pursuits. It says any hurt which endangers life or which causes the sufferer to be during the space of 20 days in severe bodily pain. Yahan tak to theek hai, it's okay up to here. Any hurt which is endangering my life or is causing me to suffer for 20 days severe bodily pain. Fine. There is a comma here. Can you see the comma, friends? Or unable to follow his ordinary pursuits. Or unable to follow his ordinary pursuits. Now, friends, does the comma mean that unable to follow his ordinary pursuits cannot be connected to 20 days? Because after 20 days of bodily pain, there is a comma. So it should end there. So 20 days should not apply to unable to follow his ordinary pursuits. In that case, even 2 days should be okay. Or why have they given a comma? The comma should mean that 20 days is meant only for severe bodily pain. It is meant only for severe bodily pain. It is not meant for ordinary pursuits. Which, even if for 2 days I cannot follow, I am grievously hurt. This discrepancy or this peculiarity was addressed by the court in Abdul Sadek versus State of Maharashtra. The court said that while normally you should respect a punctuation mark like comma, normally while interpreting a statute, a punctuation mark should be respected. Okay? But it may not always be safe to rely on punctuation as a deciding factor. It is not always safe. So sometimes if you rely only on punctuation, you will come out with a strange situation that if you are bodily pain, it has to be for 20 days. But if you cannot do your normal pursuits, it does not have to be 20 days. That anomaly caused by the comma, if you should not rely on the comma in this case, right? It said any punctuation work which is inconsistent with such construction will be disregarded, and the punctuation will not be allowed to control the plain meaning of the text. So the plain meaning of the text was, bhaiya, if it has endangered life or caused severe bodily pain for 20 days or inability to pursue common pursuits for 20 days. So that is the plain meaning. You cannot change that meaning by focusing on that comma. But this was explained only recently, relatively recently, in 2003. The next case is where the court said in Ganeshan versus Deputy Superintendent of Police, it's a 2014 case. Grievous injury. You see, whenever there is an injury and there is a medico-legal case, the complainant or the injured person is always sent to the doctor, and the doctor treats it as a MLC, a medico-legal case, and gives a report. Now the doctor may say that the victim suffered a grievous injury. But according to the Madras High Court, doctor saying grievous injury is not enough. That grievous injury has to strictly lie within the 8 parameters defined by section 20 E cube MD FBT 20. Emasculation, eye, ear, member or joint, dislocation, disfiguring, fracture, bone, tooth, and 20 days. So E cube, MD, FBT 20, unless that parameter is satisfied, even if the doctor says it's a grievous injury, no. It may happen that there may be an injury which causes severe bodily pain for 18 days only, and the doctor says grievous injury. As I told you, somebody X hits Y very hard on the arm and there is a sprain, or he twists the arm so hard there is a sprain. Now the pain may be so acute that it may last for 18 days. Doctor may say, oh, grievous injury. No. So the court said then it has to be based on the nature of injury as given in section 390, 320 as the case may be. Right? So it has to be an infirmity, it has to be a bodily injury, it has to be a disease, and if it's 320, it has to satisfy E cube, MD, FBT 20. Medical evidence, the court said, will assist you in trying to classify the injury. But that is not the last word. The last word in understanding whether the injury is grievous or not. It's a simple injury. That simple or grievous ka jo difference hai, that can be decided only by the binding parameters given in section 320 IPC. Now we come to voluntarily causing hurt by dangerous weapon or means. Section 324, bodily pain, disease or infirmity. Now, this section provides the punishment. If somebody causes hurt but uses dangerous weapons or methods to cause hurt, then the punishment can be for 3 years or with fine or with both. Why I have taken this section in 326? Because both speak of causing hurt by dangerous weapons. 324 speaks of causing hurt by hurt, and 326 speaks of voluntarily causing grievous hurt. There are 3 things here. Voluntarily, that means the hurt has been caused with knowledge and intention. The mens rea is present voluntarily, right? Mens rea, the guilty mind is present. Section 324, hurt by dangerous weapons or means. Weapon, you know what a weapon is? Means will come just now. Poison is a means, isn't it? So the first one is by means of any instrument for shooting, stabbing or cutting. A knife, for example, a paper knife can cause an injury. Now imagine, you can even cause simple hurt with a gun. You take an air gun, it shoots little pellets, charra it is called. Now you shoot at somebody. The charras, the pellets hit him. It is not a grievous hurt because there is no loss of eye, ear or emasculation or member or joint or bone or tooth or disfiguration, nor is there any endangering his life, nor is there compulsorily 20 days suffering bodily pain or inability to follow normal pursuits. The pellets, the charra lodges in his backside, fine. It causes hurt, it causes bodily pain. Right? So it can still be hurt even if you are using a gun at times, especially if you are using an air gun. Or any instrument which used as a weapon of offense is likely to cause death. Now, I have given here the example of a rolling pin, a belan. Generally, we all hear stuff, the wife takes a belan and hits her husband with it. Rolling pin, you know. But jokes apart, a rolling pin can be used on the side of the hand. It can be hit on the backside. Normally, it can also cause death. A balloon which hits you very hard on the head can crack your skull open, right? So a weapon of offense likely to cause death. In this case, it causes hurt, but it's a dangerous weapon by means of fire or any heated substance. Now, fire or heated substance. Take, for example, somebody lights a matchstick, X or Y, right? And somebody, lights it beneath somebody else. Maybe mischief. That chap suffers a slight burn. The victim jumps up, but it is fire. Matchstick has been used. Hurt has been caused. Poison. Now, there can be a poison which does not cause grievous hurt. Take, for example, arsenic. If somebody slips 2 or 3 drops of arsenic into somebody's food, there will be discomfort, I am sure, for 4, 5, 6 days, including stomach problems. But it will not be grievous hurt. But it is poison. Arsenic is poison. Large doses will cause death. Explosive substance. Again, you take a Diwali ki ladi, on Deepavali you use these little firecrackers. Now, if somebody takes a firecracker, puts this thing to it and throws it at somebody else, the cracker bursts and there is a small burn. But if it is a large bundle of crackers, it's a large explosive, it is dynamite, it would have caused grievous hurt. But nonetheless, it is dangerous. So even if it does not cause grievous hurt, it voluntarily causes hurt by dangerous weapons or means. By means of any substance which is deleterious to the human body to inhale, to swallow, or to receive into the blood. Now, friends, take for example chloroform. Normally, if somebody puts a chloroform pad here, the person to whom it is applied will fall unconscious. Hurt. He'll suffer bodily pain because he falls down. But a large amount of chloroform could have caused death. Okay. Carbon dioxide. We are exhaling it all the time. Somebody shuts somebody in a garage for 5 minutes. Enough carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide is generated for that person to feel highly uneasy and to feel infirmity, inability to breathe. The same thing if done for 1 hour would have caused that person to die. Hurt, grievous hurt. By means of any animal. Now there is a dog. Two people are walking in the park, somebody comes, A does not like B. A has a dog, he sets his dog upon B, right? And he sets his dog upon B, and B, dog bites B. Now this, my friends, if you will excuse me, this, my friends, is a hurt. It's a simple hurt. Small bite. He'll have to get his 5 injections or 10 injections, anti-rabies. But it is not a grievous hurt. But the same dog could also have bitten the man to death. So I have just given these examples to show you that if hurt is voluntarily, knowingly and intentionally caused by dangerous weapons or means, that invites a punishment of 3 years. Now, what happens if grievous hurt is caused by dangerous weapons or means? That same EQ, MD, FBT 20, emasculation, eye, ear, member, joint, disfiguration, dislocation, bone, tooth, fracture, and 20 days. Right? Now the examples are the same, but in this case, grievous hurt is caused. A knife is used to sort of slash somebody's arm so badly that the person cannot recover in 20 days, or a bullet is fired which may not kill the man, but which would require huge surgery and would cause infirmity for 20 days. Or a bullet is fired which breaks the man's legs. Or you take a balan, a rolling pin, and you hit somebody so badly that his legs break. Grievous hurt, fire. That matchstick was used for simple hurt. But suppose somebody X throws a burning rag at Y, and that burning rag, you see, hits him on the face. Part of his face is permanently burnt. Permanent disfiguration. Poison. Arsenic, in this case, is given not 2-3 drops, but over 5-6 days. It requires long hospitalization. The person may have died. Right? Explosive substance. Instead of throwing a single piece of laddi, somebody sets off a big anar under somebody else, or a piece of dynamite under somebody else, such that that person is thrown for 5 feet and breaks his hands and legs upon landing. And this is done voluntarily. Similarly, as I told you in the last slide, you shut up somebody in a garage for say 10 minutes. That person may revive if taken to hospital, but the lungs may suffer serious treatment which may lead to hospitalization for more than 20 days. Animal, a small dog bite, nip as you call it, is a simple hurt. But what happens if my dog, I voluntarily and deliberately set him upon somebody else, and that dog goes and bites him on the face? His teeth sink into the cheek of the other person, leaving huge bite marks which never heal. So there is a disfigurement, my friend, and that is a grievous injury. If this happens, if these instruments are used to cause grievous hurt, E-cube MD FBT 20 voluntarily, then the punishment can be for life or for imprisonment, maybe rigorous or simple imprisonment or rigorous imprisonment. Qaid ba mashakkat ya qaid, for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Obviously, voluntarily causing dangerous hurt, grievous hurt with a dangerous weapon is a far more serious offense than voluntarily causing hurt with a dangerous weapon. And to remind you, what is hurt has been defined. What is grievous hurt has been very carefully defined also. And the word voluntarily always implies either intention or knowledge, that is the existence of a guilty mind, a mens rea. Now, what is a dangerous weapon? Now, there's a famous case of Gurmeet Ram Rahim versus Central Bureau of Investigation. I don't know how many of you friends would remember Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Gurmeet Ram Rahim was the head of the Dera Sacha Sauda. And he made some films also, where he would defeat the enemy, single-handed, etc., etc. Dera Sacha Sauda was a sort of a spiritual institution which he claimed he was running. But he was arrested and he has been convicted of numerous offenses, including murder and God knows what else. I'll not go into that. I'm not the authority. But this is that same Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Now, in his case, what is an instrument which is likely to cause death? So the court, Punjab and Haryana High Court, very clearly again explained in 2018 that when you are applying 326 IPC, that is voluntarily causing grievous hurt using a dangerous weapon, right? The hurt must be grievous. It must be caused by a dangerous weapon or means, including some instrument. Now the court said there is no such thing as a regular or earmarked weapon for committing murder, or for that matter, the grievous injury. The law has not laid out a list of weapons which are to be regarded as dangerous weapons. Ki bhai, these are dangerous weapons and these are not dangerous weapons. Right? Even a paper knife can be a dangerous weapon. A paper weight can be a dangerous weapon. So whether when you are examining grievous injury case, you have to see whether the article used for causing that grievous injury could have caused it. A paperweight hit on the head could break the skull is something the court has to conclude on the basis of evidence. So it is factual. Right, my friends? There is no broad list, Schedule A, Schedule B of what is a dangerous weapon. Dangerous weapon can be anything. Dangerous instrument can be anything if it is capable of causing the grievous hurt which it did cause or which it allegedly caused. So thank you, friends. I'll conclude at this point. I hope I've been very clear and hoping to meet you again next week. Thank you.